Well, being Memorial Day, I would like to start with that. Judge John Roll, who lived here in Tucson, started as a federal district judge here in 1992, was murdered here in Tucson on January 8th, and was a great man, was a great example to all America as to what a real judge should be. You see, he didn't allow politics, his personal political opinions, to be part of his decisions. And he actually based his rules and his decisions, his rulings, I should say, and his decisions on the Constitution, on the historical perspective of the Constitution. And that's why I say he's such a great example to other judges, because in this day and age of political correctness and legislating from the bench, Judge Roll would not do that. And he was the first judge to hear my lawsuit. And without him, this lawsuit wouldn't have made it to the Supreme Court. And today I want to honor him, as well as the Marine veteran that we honored this morning, Jose Guerena. And I really want all of you to study what you can about Judge Roll and the things he stood for, and the amazing man that we lost on January 8th. You'll remember that was the shooting that Dupnik was all trying to blame us for that shooting. You'll remember he actually singled out Sarah Palin and Rush Limbaugh for creating an atmosphere where people have to just start shooting each other. And that's the type of leadership that we have in this county, and so obvious that this man has been at the job way too long. And I would like to go back, though, a little bit historically. Why the big increase of SWAT team usage in America? Do any of you get that? Do you know why? Yeah.
I know exactly why.
All right.
The war on drugs.
Oh, heavens. We have to have the war on drugs. Yeah. Well, actually, though, if you go back and look at television, you're going to see another reason. Remember television shows in the early 80s? SWAT was one. And do any of you even know what SWAT stands for? Special Weapons and Tactics. Yeah. So we got to go on drug, marijuana. A guy's growing 3 small plants in his basement bathroom, and we need special weapons and tactics for that?
Absolutely.
He's a pothead, for God's sakes. He probably, it mellows you out, okay? Maybe you cops should try some. No, seriously, you can look at the history of SWAT team and how the scale of SWAT team creation coincides with Hill Street Blues and the SWAT television movie. Yeah, or show, not movie, show. So SWAT becomes real big, and now all these chiefs and cities want their own SWAT teams. Well, you go to all that expense to get that, so what do you have to do? It's like, you have to use it. Oh man, hey you guys, you're having a departmental meeting and you're going, you know what? The city council bought my sales pitch and bought us a big old SWAT band and all this training, paid for all this SWAT training, and paid for all the equipment and all these new guns, and we never use them. We got all ready for the dance, and we can't dance. And so, they want to start dancing. And no, I'm not talking about Adam Kokesh getting arrested at the Jefferson Memorial. That's another issue. Okay? And I'll tell you, what I saw about my friend Adam Kokesh is I'm definitely on his side and not the police on that one too. But anyway. So seriously, if you look at the scale, you'll see that happened. And so chiefs of police and sheriffs had to find reasons to use SWAT more often. And so what started happening? We're going into the wrong homes. And people are shocked and getting shot because they don't know why the cops are in their homes. And they think they're looking at a suspect and this guy's acting crazy, so they shoot him, or they taser him, bro, or they kill dogs. I mean, they go in, and so the dogs don't react really nicely to these, oh, I feared for my safety, so I killed the dog. And even worse, I feared for my safety, and I killed the person. And it's gotten way out of control. And I really object to the training mentality in SWAT. I was a hostage negotiator, and we cross-trained with SWAT. And SWAT is only supposed to be used when the negotiation stops. And to say that SWAT should be there because somebody might have a gun. How many gun owners in Arizona alone? What, 5 million?
Not enough.
Yeah, not enough. That's right.
How many people might have drugs in their home?
Oh man, you're a dead meat. You got drugs in your home, you know. And I have assailed the drug war as well. And I once was a drug warrior. I was an undercover narcotics officer, agent. And I learned what the drug problem is, and I learned what the drug war is. And let me tell each and every one of you that the drug war is a farce. And I would say hurry up and legalize all of it and leave the rest of us the hell alone. And, but you know what? There's too much money into it, and I'm sure government doesn't want to stop all that money being poured of ours into the drug war. And I don't use drugs, and I pray that you don't either. But there's one thing worse than drug abuse or drug addiction. The drug war is worse. And what really bothers me about police officers is they don't get this in training. They don't receive this in training. That we put the safety of the individual first. We're trained in law enforcement that it's my safety I put first. Where did we get that from? That's the most selfish attitude I've ever seen in my life. When they came in your home, they should have said, put the gun down. When they saw him, put the gun down. You're outmanned, you're outgunned. We are the police, we're from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Put the gun down. And it ends. And I've got to ask, I'm sorry, I've got to ask something here. I think this is extremely startling. We hear all of a sudden, after the shooting, that Jose shot at them. That's the first thing we heard. Why did we hear that? Why did we hear that? Because the officers are what? Trying to CYA. Oh, we've got to cover this. We've got to cover our butts on this one. So we better say he fired first. That should be the #1 thing that Sheriff Dupnick is concerned about. That one. He is their supervisor. He is the one they work for. He reports to the people of this community. Tell me why, Sheriff, instead of making up more excuses as to why this death occurred in your county, I don't want to hear any more excuses. I want you to tell me what disciplinary action and what investigation and internal affairs you're conducting to see why an officer lied about a shooting. Now, if he said that, and he said now, well, no, that was a mistake. He didn't really shoot at us. That means that some officer wasn't going to go along. Some officer was going to cross the blue line and not support the lie. And so because they found the gun with the safety still on, so they know that this honorable Marine did not intend to shoot at them at that point. He was checking it out. And Stewart was absolutely correct. The Marine was following proper procedure. Check your target out first. SWAT team members didn't do that. In all police training that I've ever had, it's always know your target first. And I'm going to submit this, and I know this is really going to shock a lot of police officers all across the country. And let it shock them, I hope it does. But this is what you need to do. There's one thing worse, my good fellow officers and sheriffs. There's one thing worse than getting shot. And that's shooting the wrong person. That's what I could never live with. I would rather die than to have to live with the fact that I took someone else's life, an innocent person. I could never live with that. Take me first before I do something like that, ever. Could you imagine the 11 bullets that missed? Had it hit her son or her? What would we be talking about now? What would the excuses be from the Pima County Sheriff? Yeah. Could you imagine? And this brave Marine did exactly what Stewart said. Put himself between him and the threat and his family. Made sure they were safe, and then he went to find out what was going on. And I guarantee you, I would have had my gun. It probably wouldn't have been a rifle, it probably would have been a pistol. And that's the kind of policy change that we need. First, you have got to look at the ridiculous nature and policies using SWAT teams in the first place. This could have been handled so easily without a SWAT team. So easily. And I can only tell you about when I was a detective, that we would have gone, I would have gone to his place of employment at about the time he was leaving. And I'm going to say, Mr. Guerena, we're going to do a search warrant on your home right now. You're going to stay here with us. You're going to be with Officer Smith in his vehicle. Is there anything in the home that you need to tell us about? He says, no, my wife's there. I don't want her hurt. He says, nobody's going to be hurt. We're going to go in. Here's a copy of the warrant. Give it to him. Go search the home. Okay? Do we need a SWAT team now? For Vanessa? Give me a break. So, the whole thing is diffused. We're still serving our warrant. Nobody dies. And that is a less of a threat to the officers, for God's sakes.
Amen.
So, and neighbors. I mean, this whole thing. And if this gets swept under the carpet, oh my gosh. Now, please, please, government, be accountable and responsible and follow the rules. For God's sakes, can we follow the rules for once in this country? And so, my other plea has been to law enforcement for the past 20 years. Can't we believe in America and still be cops? Can't we still enforce the law but believe in American ideals? Can't we believe in our Constitution? Can we believe in the Founding Fathers? Can we still believe that what Patrick Henry said about the holy cause of liberty and principles of freedom, principles of liberty? Can't we have law and order and still be God-fearing Americans? And can't we still care enough about each other that we put one rule first, the golden rule, that we were not going to do anything to them that we would not want done to us? And that's the rule that needs to be far more important than enforcing the law. And maybe, just maybe, if we have officers and sheriffs who follow the Constitution and put Americanism first, that we'll have fewer of these incidents. Instead of being trained, I go home no matter what. No. I don't believe in that anymore. And maybe I just don't fit the mold. Yeah, and I don't want to. And I'm going to have to tell you, there's some things that happened getting us down here, and there was some dissension in the ranks within Oathkeepers about not wanting to be here with Vanessa and your family. And some of them aren't here. And Stuart took a lot of heat. And he's taken a lot of heat since coming up with this most amazing organization. And I'm proud to stand with Stuart Rhodes. And I'm proud to have made a new friend today. And her name is Vanessa Guerena. And I'll say it again. What happened to your husband was wrong, and I am so, so very sorry. Amen. And everyone in Arizona, from the governor to the sheriff to every local officer, they all owe you a very profound apology. What happened there was wrong. And I don't pretend to be able to say that and make everything all right, especially with what you're going to go through explaining this to your children and how you could possibly explain this to your two young boys. But I hope you'll tell them that there was a lot of people here in Tucson today and from all over the country that extend their heartfelt, sincere apologies to you and your boys. And we love you, and we're here for you. And this is America. And I've written a little book, a lot of you have seen it before, and it's called The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And on May 5th, that wasn't true. And this sheriff should be replaced. Yes. Just real quickly in closing, on page 19 of the book, I quote James Madison. And he tells us all that the greatest threat facing America is not foreign enemies. So I would paraphrase that and say, it's not the cartels, and it's not Al-Qaeda, and it's not Osama bin Laden, or it wasn't him, and it is an international terrorist. As Madison puts it, he says that we will lose, quote, there are more instances of the abridgment of freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachments from those in power than by violent sudden usurpations or foreign attacks of foreign enemies. I believe that. And I've said over and over that the greatest threat that we face today is our own government. And then on the very first page, I quote Thomas Jefferson, and he warns us that when all government shall be drawn to Washington as the center of all power, it will render powerless the checks provided. What are the checks he's talking about? The Constitution itself. It will render powerless the Constitution. And you know why the Constitution will be powerless? Because the people we've hired to take care of us will ignore it and will trample it under their feet because they're smarter and somehow bigger and better than our own rule of law. And this is what we get when we allow that to happen. And so my question is, when government becomes venal and oppressive, to whom can the people turn for peace, safety, and protection? It's obvious that your sheriff in Pima County is not the answer. And we have got to do something about that. And he's been in way too long. And yes, I worked as a sheriff in Arizona for 8 years while Sheriff Dubnik was a sheriff. And I can tell you I'm surprised, very much surprised, at his lack of leadership, his lack of public relations skills, and his overuse of SWAT teams. And you might just say, if there's anybody that's been in office too long, it's him. And we need to tell him goodbye real soon. I would call for his resignation. But then again, he's probably too busy to recognize the need to do such. So I hesitate to even call for that because he doesn't get it. And I doubt if he's going to get it for me. But if I could appeal to him to do anything, Clarence, it's time for you to do the right thing and step down and let new leadership take care of this county. Don't make excuses when you should be offering apologies. There's a big difference between excuse making and apologizing. And this is a time of mourning. I also want to honor my own mother, who passed away the day before Jose did. But you know what? We were expecting her to go pretty soon. She was 89. Jose should still be here with his family. This was wrong. And I'm grateful to stand and honor his memory and his wife and children and all the people that we saw there today. What an amazing view of all those people standing with Vanessa today and her family. Beautiful, beautiful procession that it was this morning. And I'm honored once again to be with all of you fellow Oathkeepers. And Stuart, the true leadership that you exhibited in getting us here and getting this together and making contact with Vanessa was invaluable. And now there is no question. We did the right thing being here with you today, Vanessa.
Amen.
And I thank you.